All right, welcome back, folks. It is December 12th. It is now less than 2 weeks towards to Christmas, and we'll have a look at what the Advent calendar has in store for us today. First thing you'll notice is the rating. Whoa! So, actually, I would say, yes, this is one of the ones that it's just not Christmas without. I have to see this every year. It is not Christmas if I don't. That being said, I have a reservation or two about it. All right, so firstly, this is called A Christmas to Remember, stars Jason Robards and Eva Marie Saint. Now, Robards was actually a wonderful, wonderful actor, and what's very interesting about this is his style of acting, his approach to his character in this is very, very melodramatic. He has been wounded by events in his life. Because he has been wounded by events in his life, I don't want to go into too much detail because I think people should see it. He is very, very angry, very, very bitter, and this is causing him problems in relationships that he has now. So he is, by this point, an elderly man. He has very troubled relationships with his wife and with his grandson, and his relationship with his grandson, who he has only just met at the beginning of this film, really exacerbates his trauma and lays it bare. And Robards does some wonderful work at just portraying an angry, walking, wounded character who is absolutely railing against the injustice and the unfairness of everything that's happened in his life in this film. So it really wouldn't be Christmas for me if I didn't see this. Eva Marie Saint does a wonderful job as his wife. There's and it's really funny because, well, not funny, but one of the interesting things about the dynamic in the relationships here is that the grandson, of course, finds him very terrifying and very intimidating. His wife, as played by Eva Marie Saint, sees right through him and does not have a problem with him, even when he is screaming like King Lear at the top of his lungs. She doesn't have a problem walking right up to him and putting him in his place, and he actually does submit. So he's a very, very angry character. He's a very, very wounded character. But there is a lot of tenderness in him as well, which does get unlocked in some very interesting moments in the film in some very interesting ways. So why the whoa-ho-ho and not the fully unreserved whoa-ho-ho-ho? There's a shift in the tone just in the second half of it, which doesn't quite ring true. And it tries to emblematize that he's starting to heal, and he's realizing through his own hurt and through his own trauma what he's done to his wife and his grandson, and he begins trying to make amends for that, but the tone of it shifts just a little too abruptly, especially based on the absolute powerhouse of a performance that he delivers in the first half of this film. So for that reason, yes, it's not Christmas. If I don't watch this, I don't love it, but I do recognize that there is a slight flaw in it. It was also kind of controversial because a lot of people really didn't like this. The reason they didn't like this is it's very loosely based on a novel by Glendon Swarthout called, I believe, well, it was called The Melodian, and I think it's called The Christmas Miracle or The Christmas Star in a second edition. But the novel is very, very strong as well, and the adaptation of The Melodian into A Christmas to Remember was, shall we say, very, very loose and very, very liberal. And I think people who watched A Christmas to Remember who didn't like it, tend to judge it on how successfully it replicates the melodeon. So it strays in very significant ways from the original source it adapts. But I judge, as with any adaptation, it needs to be judged on its own terms, not how well it represents an original. And this is absolutely one of the films that it would not be Christmas without. Hope you've enjoyed today's mini review. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you.